thought I'd address something that is probably on a lot of mum and dad investors' minds at the moment, and that is selling a rental property. The most common question I get asked by landlords is whether to keep the tenants or not when they're selling their property. Let's break it down. There are definitely pros and cons to both approaches. Selling without the tenant makes it obviously easier for you to get in before coming to market and do repairs and renovations. You also don't have to work around tenants with viewings and availability. On the flip side, having tenants in place can attract buyers who see it as a ready-made investment, as it's less hassle for them and possibly better for your long-term tenants. The notice period is 90 days, and that would apply from the date of unconditional if the new owner wants vacant possession. Often tenants start to look for new accommodation as soon as they are told that the property is coming on the market, and most landlords will release them early if they find something. If you decide to sell without the tenants, 90 days notice is required and the tenant is allowed to remain in the property undisturbed for those 90 days. So make sure that you recognise that there will be no viewings within that first 90 days. Once the tenant has vacated, this is a good opportunity to do the pre-market fixes and consider staging the property. A house always looks better staged. Why can't I sell it vacant? Well, you can, but if you've ever been into a vacant house, you'll notice that the room sizes look smaller and many people can't visualize the space. The downside of selling the property vacant is that of staging it is obviously it'll cost you the cost of staging it while it's on the market, and that could be a longer time at the moment than what we were seeing previously. If you decide to sell with tenants, it's essential to inform them in writing before listing the property. This gives them a heads up and a chance to ask questions or to voice concerns. It can be quite intrusive for them, obviously, it's not their choice, and we'll be having photo shoots and viewings. So make sure the agent is respectful and upfront. Make sure that you enlist the help of a real estate agent rather than doing it yourself, because they can guide you on this process. And as we've worked with many tenants before, we understand how to treat the situation with empathy and compassion. Your tenants can also have a say in the process within reason. They can limit viewing times and request private showings instead of open homes. Offering them a rent reduction during the sale period can also be very helpful when they have reservations about the process. Once you've found a buyer, there is still some work to do. So if the buyer wants to keep the existing tenants, it's usually pretty straightforward. You just need to inform the tenants of the new landlord's details and update the tenancy agreement accordingly. But if the buyer wants to move into the property and they want the property vacant, then things can be a bit trickier, especially if your tenant is on a fixed term lease. You'll need to give them enough notice to vacate, and depending on the lease agreement, it could take some time to sort that out. So if it is a fixed term lease, they are entitled to stay there for the fixed term. Throughout the whole process, communication is vital. So keeping the lines of communication with your tenants, encouraging questions and being empathetic to their situation can make things a lot smoother for everyone involved. Selling a rental property definitely has challenges, but with the right approach and advice, we can successfully navigate through this together. So if you are thinking of selling your rental property, make sure you touch base with the pro agent team